Now at 9, the story of a four-state hero who was stationed at Pearl Harbor when it was attacked 80 years ago.
President Biden spoke with the Russian president for more than 2 hours, specifically about their ramp-up of troops along the Ukrainian border. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. What came of the call? Next.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. Today marks 80 years since the deadly attack on Pearl Harbor, and across the country, people held ceremonies remembering those who were killed. Fox News national correspondent William LaJeunesse has more.
It's a day that lives in infamy. 80 years since the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, sending the United States into World War II. Japanese planes bombed the naval base in Hawaii, killing more than 2,400 Americans. 32 Pearl Harbor survivors gathered at dawn to observe a moment of silence at 7:55 a.m. local time, the same minute the attack started in 1941. 150 other World War II vets flew in from across the country and joined with younger generations to remember those who were killed.
Today's event allows us, the generation of the 21st century, to recognize, honor, and give thanks to the generation of military veterans and civilians who served during World War II. Their lives and their legacy will never be forgotten.
About half those who died served on the battleship Arizona, which sank shortly after being hit. In Washington, President Biden and the First Lady visited the World War II Memorial to pay their respects. In New York, families of local Pearl Harbor survivors gathered to remember their legacy. Michael Galella says his father felt it was his duty to educate younger generations about the attack.
All the veterans that came back from the war, that saw so much devastation and death, that they had when they came home, it was their obligation to tell stories about the ones who didn't come home.
Later today, another ceremony on the Arizona Memorial. Divers will place the remains of Lieutenant Harvey Milhorn on the ship below. 80 years ago, he swam to safety. Today, he will rejoin his fellow sailors. In Pearl Harbor, William LaJeunesse, Fox News.
As we just saw, veterans and families of those who served that day are using the anniversary to tell the stories of those who fought. KOAM's Bronte Sorosky spoke with a Galena, Kansas woman whose dad was at Pearl Harbor, and with the local VFW, Bronte shares their stories.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Tuesday marks the 80th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor, one of the most pivotal moments of U.S. history.
That was 80 years ago, so not too many people are walking around right now that were actually there. That would put them at least 97 years old in that range. So, yeah, there's a lot of members and brothers and sisters that go out there because their sons and daughters do remember.
Michael Juris, commander at the Carthage VFW, says their organization places an emphasis on ensuring veterans aren't forgotten, especially on a day like this. Locally, we have those who did serve at Pearl Harbor. Donald Anderson, a Galena native and a World War II veteran, is remembered by his daughter Dawn.
This is my dad. This is Donald J. Anderson. This is my dad. He was in the Navy and very, very proud to be in the Navy.
Anderson passed away in 2014 and up until then used his experiences to educate younger generations on the war. Now his daughter Dawn carries on his memory to do that.
All of this is the Pearl Harbor location. I'm very blessed to have this. These are love letters. There's a lot of love letters in here. And back in the time of World War II, it was a very different time than it is now.
Anderson's family keeps a scrapbook of her dad's time in the war, preserving his presence in history.
I'm so honored because here my dad's passed, but there would be nothing that he would be happier than to know I'm doing this memorial, at this time, because he loved, like I said, the US of A, and he loved being in World War II. It was a very different time during World War II. He could tell you a lot more if he was here.
In Carthage and Joplin, Bronte Sorosky, KOAM News.
Carthage VFW is going to continue helping local veterans, of course, and will host their next post meeting on December 13th. With that, we are proud to recognize Donald Anderson as tonight's four-state hero. Just as we heard about, Anderson served in the U.S. Navy as a motor machinist from 1944 to 1946. He was stationed at Pearl Harbor, earned the Pacific Area Campaign Medal, American Area Medal, and Victory Medal. We are proud to thank and honor Donald Anderson, a native of Galena, Kansas. He's tonight's four-state hero. To learn more about other heroes or submit your hero of your own anytime, just head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Doug Cady joining us now. First look at the forecast. Chilly day today. Doug?
Yeah, another cold one outside for us today. Temperatures struggling to warm up as we work through the day. Most of us only went into lower 40s, 43 for a high. Started cold at 29, average highs 50, so still 7 degrees shy of where we should be for this time of the year. And you can't see a lot of clouds. We've had clouds all day long. We've even had some light little flurries kind of spitting out there. But the clouds are starting to break up just a bit right across central Kansas. So eventually we're going to clear out a little bit later on tonight, especially after midnight. Temperatures dropping back again, upper 30s to near 40s. But we do start to warm up the next few days. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thank you so much. Leggett & Platt today presented new safety equipment to the Franklin Technology Center in Joplin. The company donated a total of 925 respirator masks in a couple of sizes, also 250 filters to Franklin Tech.
Now, these masks are going to be used not only by our daytime programs, which serve high schools from Joplin, Webb City, Carl Junction, and Sarcoxy, but also will help out our adult programs at night that serve people from throughout the area.
Franklin Tech is over at 810 South Wall in Joplin. All right, when you play video games, you always want to advance to the next level, right? That's the type of thing happening over at Crowder College. Back in the spring of 2020, Crowder jumped into the world of esports, and now they've claimed their first national championship. How about that? Tyler Clement picked up first place in the NJCAA Esports National Tournament. His game of choice, Call of Duty Warzone, and that's obviously a big accomplishment. It's going to help the sophomore as he looks to continue his esports career at a university.
I was trying to play off placement, but also get my elims and everything. So getting those together, that first game, I won that entire game. But the second one, I got fourth in. But it was pretty cool seeing, like, being able to do that and have that, I guess, luck to get that far in without being stopped.
7 other Crowder students participated in the national tournament, playing games like NBA 2K21 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Jury in Newton County found a Diamond, Missouri man guilty of shooting another man because his car was keyed. Authorities say back in 2019, Donald White went to a man's house, started shooting the man's vehicles with a shotgun. Then when the man came outside, shot the man as well. That man survived. White is convicted of second-degree assault and armed criminal action. Had all year to get it done, but Congress once again taking its high-stakes debt limit debate down to the wire. They've also got to fund the military as Democrats continue their push to pass the president's Build Back Better plan. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera is over in D.C. with the latest on the efforts to get these legislative priorities done before the year ends.
The warnings over the deadline to hike the debt ceiling have been going on for months.
America must pay its bills on time and in full. If we do not, we will eviscerate our current recovery.
Yes, I think it's essential the debt ceiling be raised in a timely fashion so we can pay our bills.
Now Congress is considering a complex plan that would address the issue, with days to go before the country hits its debt limit later this month. Lawmakers unveiled a bill Tuesday that includes a one-time process to raise the debt ceiling with a simple majority, not the 60 votes typically needed to overcome a filibuster in the Senate. Several Republicans are signaling their openness to the fast-track move because it wouldn't need their votes.
I think this is in the best interest of the country by avoiding default, and allows the Democrats to proudly own it, which they're happy to do.
The debt limit is not the only item on Congress's to-do list. They must also pass the National Defense Authorization Act, an annual defense funding bill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the House is poised to pass it as soon as today, and the Senate may soon follow suit.
And it's our view that we will pass that bill as the House sends it because it's been negotiated already.
The efforts come as Senate Democrats also aim for a vote on the roughly $1.8 trillion Build Back Better bill, some of them preparing to spend the holidays on Capitol Hill.
We've been warned to be prepared to stay here until Christmas Day, and I take that seriously.
Senator Schumer won't say by how much Congress will lift the debt ceiling, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the House will take up the bill and send it to the president once the Senate passes it. In Washington, Malda Rivera, Fox News.
In reaction to President Biden's video call with Russian President Vladimir Putin, the White House also sharing some of the key issues discussed during their meeting. Lawmakers weighing in on how the U.S. should react if Russia were to invade Ukraine. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has the latest from D.C.
The National Security Advisor says President Biden made himself clear on a call with the Russian president. The U.S. won't stand by if they invade Ukraine.
We still do not believe that President Putin has made a decision. What President Biden did today was lay out very clearly the consequences if he chooses to move.
On Tuesday, President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke for more than 2 hours. This video from the Kremlin.
Good to see you again.
Before and after the call, President Biden spoke with European allies because the biggest topic for the two leaders was Ukraine and possible sanctions against Russia should they invade.
He also told President Putin there's another option: de-escalation and diplomacy.
The U.S. is also eyeing Russia's energy supply, saying they are having discussions with allies about the German-led Nord Stream 2 pipeline.
If Vladimir Putin wants to see gas flow through that pipeline, he may not want to take the risk of invading Ukraine.
That's the single biggest step that would stop Russia, that would stop Putin, that would protect American national security, and that would stop a Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Putin also has his red line. He does not want Ukraine to be able to join NATO.
He wants an explicit reference from the United States and the NATO countries to back off ever bringing Ukraine into NATO. I don't think we're going to make that declaration.
President Biden will speak with the Ukrainian president on Thursday. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. A bit later, national recognition for Pitt State track standout Trace MOSBY. Gonna have details, of course, in sports.
Well, it turned out to be another chilly day for us today. Temperatures struggling to warm up again. We had clouds all day long as we only went up into lower 40s for highs. Looks pretty good right now. This is a live shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but still have the clouds. But at least we're pretty quiet, and we are going to start to warm things back up as we go through the next few days, significantly over the next couple days. Strong storm system on Friday. Not a lot of moisture, but it will give us a strong cold front. Another system in the middle of next week. The pattern is really picking up. Of course, you can get my long range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, it's been cold. Only lower 40s yesterday. We dropped back into the 20s last night, only into lower 40s once again for us today. Now we're starting to drop back. Most of us low to mid 30s on the Kansas side. Once you get in southwestern Missouri, Oklahoma, down toward Arkansas, a little bit closer to about 40 degrees, but everybody's going to be dropping back near 30 later on tonight. Here's what's going to help us out. We're starting to get a light southerly wind. With this south wind, this is going to help our temperatures really warm up as we go through the next few days. As of right now, it looks fine. Still have some clouds, but we are clearing out a bit. Southerly winds are light. Humidity is at 55. We're sitting at 39 at the airport in Joplin. And you can see the clouds all day long today. Even a few flurries kind of spitting out there at times. And then the back edge of the clouds starting to work into southeastern Kansas. So we are going to clear out as we go through the next several hours. We'll see mostly clear skies behind this weak little wave, which is pushing away from us. But what we are starting to see, you can see the main jet stream here, starting to shift a little bit farther west, and we're getting some waves down into the southwestern parts of the U.S. What that means for us is we start to get some stronger storm systems in here as we go through the next few weeks. Not the next few days. Cold tonight, near 30. We clear out over the next couple hours. We're going to go into the 50s by noon. I think most of us upper 50s for highs. So Wednesday looks fantastic. 31 to start, 53 by noon, high temp of 57 during the afternoon. Some clouds increase tomorrow night. We may get a couple random weak little showers or even a few sprinkles in here Thursday morning. Then we break out, see sunshine. We go into the upper 60s during the afternoon. Then our next storm system, cold front, strong cold front, is going to slide in by the time we head into Friday afternoon. It's going to put a big swath of snow just to our north for us. We'll get a few showers and cool down quite a bit by the time we head into the weekend. All right, 57 tomorrow, 68 on Thursday, 73 near record highs on Friday. We're going to get a few showers, quite a bit cooler, but not a bad weekend for early December, and then back to 67 next Tuesday.
That's crazy. 68, 73, snow to the north of us, like you were saying.
All over the place.
Doug Heddy, thank you. Coming up, new containment measures, new restrictions.
Health officials are scrambling to contain the spread of the Omicron variant. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. I've got the details coming up.
Health officials looking into more ways to keep Americans safe from the Omicron variant. Some cities taking matters into their own hands. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has more from Washington.
It was inevitable, but it's also a very big concern.
Folks across the country are gearing up for a possible new COVID surge as the Omicron variant spreads quickly. It's now been detected in at least 19 states and could be the dominant strain in the U.S. as early as next month. Omicron is the most contagious COVID variant we've seen so far, and we won't have a full picture about how it spreads for at least another week. But health officials say early data shows the vaccines are still effective, and they're making a big push to get everyone to roll up their sleeves for boosters as soon as possible.
We must act in this moment to mobilize together to do what we know works. We have months of study on Delta, and all of those data demonstrate that vaccines work.
The new strain is hitting just as COVID cases are spiking in more than 24 states. We're averaging more than 118,000 new infections every day, the highest number since early October, as cold weather drives more people to gather indoors. Local officials are now putting new mitigation efforts in place, including a vaccine mandate for all private businesses and employees in New York City. Some workers there say it's long overdue, while others claim the mandate is politically motivated.
Unless we get everybody vaccinated, mandated, we're going to start all over again.
People have to have choice. Why is he doing it now? I mean, because he wants to run for president?
The New York mandate comes after a federal judge blocked a nationwide mandate for businesses with more than 100 people. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Next, letting luxury travelers know it's good to see them again.
No, we're not at an upscale bar right now. We're actually in the middle of an airport. I'm Grady Trimble with Fox Business in Chicago. Coming up, how the airlines are looking to lure back luxury travelers. That's next.
As air travel picks up, airlines are looking to lure luxury flyers back. Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble is at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport with a behind-the-scenes look at VIP travel.
This is one of the ways the airlines are looking to lure back their luxury travelers, reopening their lounges and clubs at airports all across the country. This is the first day this Polaris Lounge at O'Hare has been open since March of 2020. It is exclusive but all-inclusive. You can see behind me they've got the full bar. If you come this way, they've got a hot and cold buffet at all times of day. In the back there, they've got private showers and sleeping pods if you're tired after a long-haul flight. This is exclusively for people who are flying business or first class on international flights. And speaking of international flights, even with the Omicron variant and new travel restrictions that just went in place, United says the outlook for international travel is still strong.
Short term, we may see some dips in our international travel, but long term, we're not anticipating any changes. Our lounge and our clubs are like an oasis in a bustling airport. It's a lot quieter, and you can have your own private space, charging stations.
And with the reopening of this lounge, 4 of the 6 United Polaris lounges across the country are reopened. The other 2 in San Francisco and at LAX Airport, those will reopen starting in January. But across airlines, clubs and lounges are broadly reopened, another way that they're trying to lure back travelers to the skies as we come back from the pandemic. In Chicago, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
Coming up, what a new study says about where cats would land on a psychopath test for humans. JOPLIN Christmas Parade was back to normal this year after some changes were made last year because of the pandemic. Freeman Health System hosted the parade. Several area businesses and organizations took part, including KOAM News Now and myself. Several of us brought some family members along as well. Theme of this year's parade was Cruise into Christmas. Funds generated from the parade will go to the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Awesome, fun time. City of Chanute, Kansas is combining two holiday staples to give kiddos a fun time. They hosted a candy cane hunt. It's pretty cool. It's similar to an Easter egg hunt where kids searched around the Central Park Pavilion. The lucky kids who found a green candy cane in particular received a special prize.
Last year, with all the COVID and everybody being quarantined or keeping to themselves, we wanted to get the kids out in the community and get them to do a little activity, a little exercise in, so we decided to do this, and it was a good turnout, so we're going to make it an annual event.
There were several candy cane hunts separated by age groups to make sure everyone had a fair shot. Joplin Parks and Rec Department and Mercy Hospital are encouraging families to be active during the holidays, and they're offering an incentive. Even a dog's getting active, for gosh sakes. The Roll and Stroll program is an activity challenge created to coincide with the holiday tree trail. First 200 people who register with the Parks Department and complete at least 5 listed activities will receive a plush knit beanie from Mercy. Activities include walking, biking, even roller skating, taking the dog out for a walk as we saw earlier. Fun times. The program will run through December 31st. U.S. housing market should continue its rise through next year. That's what analysts say as 2021 caps off a successful year for realtors and home sellers. Despite the overall downturn in the economy, the housing market has outperformed the economy since the pandemic began. Now, analysts believe the rise in housing prices will slow in 2021, but that won't make homes more affordable for consumers. That's thanks to inflation, tighter monetary policy from the U.S. Federal Reserve as well. Testimony by Empire actor JUSSIE Smollett wrapping up today, and both the defense and prosecution have rested their cases. Fox News correspondent Matt Finn is outside the courthouse in Chicago with details about what the actor said on the stand.
The fate of Jussie Smollett will soon be in the hands of a jury. The defense resting its case Tuesday after Smollett took the stand for a second day. The 39-year-old repeatedly claiming he was the victim of a homophobic and racially motivated violent crime, not the mastermind of an elaborate hoax.
Thank you for being respectful, y'all. Appreciate it.
The former Empire actor denying he took the Osundaro brothers on a dry run of the hate attacks 2 days before the incident. But the prosecution trying to prove otherwise during cross-examination, reading private Instagram messages between Bola Osundaro and Smollett, in which the actor shared his whereabouts, including the flight delay details on the night of the January 29th attack. Smollett saying he did not orchestrate the alleged 2019 hate crime, despite testimony by the Osundaro brothers claiming he planned the entire thing and paid them $3,500 to carry it out. The actor said the accusations are 100% false, calling the brothers liars. The defense saying the brothers attempted to extort $1 million from Smollett in exchange for telling authorities the attack was not planned. Smollett telling the jury the alleged extortion was made through his attorneys, not directly to him.
Jussie is the victim of a ruthless character assassination and disinformation campaign carried out by the Chicago Police Department. That has hurt him deeply.
Smollett is charged with 6 felony counts of lying to police. He's facing up to 3 years in prison if convicted. Closing arguments in this case are expected to begin on Wednesday. In Chicago, Matt Finn, Fox News.
A bit later, some politics behind the Olympics.
Chinese officials threaten the U.S. with retaliation over a diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympics. I'm Greg Belka in London. That's my story. Coming up.
Another chilly day for us today. Temperatures struggled to warm up again. We didn't get any sun, so we had the clouds all day long, but we only went into lower 40s for highs. Looks pretty good right now. These clouds are starting to break up just a bit. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, temperatures warm up the next few days, so a big swing as we head into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We do have a strong cold front on Friday. We have another strong system the middle of next week in the pattern. This is our October 13th system, so our pattern is very long this year. It's about 63 days. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, temps chilly yesterday, lower 40s into the 20s this morning, back into lower 40s, but we're going to tack on a good 13, 14, 15 degrees by the time we head into tomorrow afternoon. It is getting cold, lower 30s in our northwestern counties, and then lower 40s once you get into our southern counties. We have had a light southerly wind all day long, and this is going to help us warm up as we go through the next few days as we get significantly warmer. Just not right now. It's 39, starting to clear out. Humidity is at 55%. You can see all the clouds all day long, had some flurries kind of spitting out there through the afternoon into the evening hours, but the clouds breaking up in our northern counties. So we are clearing out. We'll see clear skies over the next couple hours. And again, our temperatures are going to drop back near 30. And if we look out to the west, you can see our main jet stream starting to push a little bit farther west. We're getting some waves down across the southwestern parts of the U.S. This wave is going to kick out and affect us on Friday, and then stronger storm systems start to stack up over the next couple weeks. We really don't have any good chances for snow over about the next 10 days, but once we get into Christmas week, they start to go up, and especially right after Christmas, they really start to increase. Near freezing tonight. We'll make it into the lower 50s by noon. We should go into the upper 50s during the afternoon hours. Here's your day planner, starting at 31, 53 by noon, high temp right around 57. So pretty good, above normal. Clouds increase tomorrow night, our first weak little wave. This may give us a few sprinkles, maybe a random shower Thursday morning, and then we break out and see sunshine once again as we head into Thursday afternoon as we go into the upper 60s for highs. We stay on the south side of the front as we go into Friday morning, so we're going to be fairly warm. And then Friday afternoon, I think we'll go into lower 70s, but a strong cold front is going to shift in during the afternoon. So this will give us a chance for some showers, maybe even a few scattered thunderstorms, and then we turn significantly cooler heading into the weekend. But we're going in the right direction the next few days. 57 tomorrow, 68 Thursday, 73 by Friday, high of only 49 Saturday, back to 67 next Tuesday.
Can't really complain that much for it being December.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Doug Heddy, thank you as always, man. Well, at least 34 people dead, dozens others still missing after a volcanic eruption in Indonesia over the weekend. Take a look at that. Mount Semeru blanketed villages, nearby towns as well, with tons of volcanic debris. Nearly 3,000 houses, 38 schools have been damaged by the debris. That's all according to local officials. All right, coming up in sports, Carl Junction girls aiming to stay undefeated at home against Girard. Also, Pitt State wide receiver aiming to earn a shot in the NFL this offseason. Jacob Leonard has that story, of course, more coming up next.
Two of the best girls basketball programs in the area meet tonight in Carl Junction. CJ hosts Girard in an early season interstate matchup this evening. The Bulldogs are 3-0 to start the season. On the other side, Girard 1-0. Good ball movement early from Girard. Kinley Smith to Olivia Cohen to Emmeline Sinnekit. Girard on the board first. Then Cohen bucket and the foul. Girard up 8 after the first. Second quarter now, Kinley Smith. Tough shot and one. Trojans control the first half. They're up 26-19 at the break. Early third, here comes Carl Junction. Kylie Scott, really tough shot goes. Moments later, Destiny Berge gets the score and the foul. 8-0 run for the Bulldogs to take the lead. Trojans, though, go back up 6 heading to the fourth. Great finish in this one. Berge again stealing, scoring plus the foul. Game all tied up. Other end, though, big response. Danica Lopez knocks down the 3. Girard back in front. Final seconds, CJ down 2. Chloe Berg, final chance for Carl Junction. Goes off the rim, and that is it. Big time win for Girard tonight. They top Carl Junction 50-48.
He has every year one of the best teams in the area. That's why we like to come over and play them, and I think they like to do that as well. What a great gritty performance by our kids. I cannot say enough about each and every one of them. We defended very, very well. That's what set it all up. But at key times, we hit shots when we needed to.
Pittsburgh State's Trace Mosby has been named the Division II National Indoor Track and Field Athlete of the Week. And the Gorillas' first indoor meet of the season over the weekend MOSBY won the pentathlon with 4,122 points. That mark is the best in the nation this season and is also the 5th best mark in NCAA Division II history. In addition to posting the big score, she also posted provisional qualifying marks for nationals in the 60-meter hurdles, the high jump, and the long jump.
I'm very hard in accepting things like that and honors like that because I see so many people put in a lot of work. So it's hard to feel deserving of it, but it does validate that what I am doing is putting in work and executing it, so it feels good. If you get in over your head with time, scores, you can forget to focus on the important things with each event. So whenever he told me or people said 5th in the history, I'm like, I had no idea.
Pitt State's Jalen Martin is hoping to hear his name called when the NFL draft rolls around in April. And Martin is headed to the draft after spending 1 full season with the Gorillas. He was no doubt one of the best receivers in the MIAA this fall. Martin finished the year with 53 catches, 832 yards, and 5 touchdowns, earning second-team All-MIAA honors. He'll also have one more chance to show what he can do on the field before the draft. Martin has accepted an invite to play in the Dream Bowl in Virginia in January.
It's tremendous. I wasn't really sure which bowl I'd be invited to, but it didn't matter to me. I love football, so whichever bowl I was invited to, whichever was the best one, that's where I was going to go. And just kind of keep putting a stamp on my career and just be grateful to go out there and play. Hopefully my family can come and everybody will know who Jalen Martin is. I want to show my speed because I know I'm fast. I'm fast for my body size and for the measurables, so I do want to show that. Continue to show that I can make the 50-50 catches in tight coverage or in zone coverage. Just keep trying to show that I'm an all-around player and get in and out of my breaks and I can move.
And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Out from a Biden administration decision to boycott the Winter Olympics. On the diplomatic level, Chinese officials are now warning of possible countermeasures. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Pelcott explains.
A growing feud between the U.S. and China with less than 2 months to the Winter Olympics. Today, Beijing accused the U.S. of violating the Olympic spirit after the Biden administration announced a diplomatic boycott of the Games, citing human rights concerns. Chinese foreign ministry officials warned the move could harm bilateral relations and vowed to take countermeasures.
The U.S. should stop politicizing sports and stop disrupting and hampering the Beijing Winter Olympics with words and deeds. Otherwise, it will undermine the dialogue and cooperation between the two countries.
There are no details on what those countermeasures may include, but the warning comes as the U.S. tries to stabilize relations with Beijing while maintaining a tough approach towards trade and human rights violations.
It puts the Biden administration on record as saying that the status quo in China is unacceptable.
Despite the diplomatic boycott, the White House says it fully supports U.S. athletes competing in the Olympics. Other major countries, including Japan and Australia, have not yet decided whether to attend the Games at a diplomatic level. New Zealand will not send dignitaries, mostly due to pandemic travel restrictions. But some argue global leaders should go one step further and keep athletes at home as well.
This whole thing about a diplomatic boycott is nonsense. They're still going to have the Olympics. They're still going to generate money.
Officials here in the UK say they have not yet made a decision whether or not to boycott the Games. In London, Greg Pelcott, Fox News.
Next, going to talk with Sandra Bullock about Netflix's Thriller following an ex-con waiting and wanting to reunite with her sister. Sandra Bullock leading a star-filled cast in Netflix's new gripping drama, The Unforgivable. Based on a British miniseries, Bullock stars as an ex-con seeking redemption. She shares how the film entertains while bringing social commentary and how it gave her a lot of insight into stories not often told on screen. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
You're gonna pay for what you did.
Sandra Bullock leads Netflix's The Unforgivable as a woman released from prison after serving 20 years for murder, searching to reconnect with her younger sister.
What new territory did this character offer you in both research and performance?
Insight into how I might have been extremely judgmental about humanity, and it turns out you just don't know the full story. I learned so much on my journey to find my daughter about the foster care system and the journeys of people who were given a deck of cards in life that I was lucky enough not to have been given. Pure luck.
Bullock is glad to tell a story not often told, and through a mystery thriller.
If we can give you relief for a couple of hours and slide in their social commentary on giving people a little less judgment and a little more of your time listening to really understand where they came from, I feel lucky that we got to make that.
You are not a victim! Viola Davis, Rob Morgan, and Vincent D'Onofrio co-star, each offering different perspectives to think about.
When people are re-entered back into society, how are they treated? One, do they deserve a second chance? Two, and then who is in authority to say if they should get a second chance, yes or no?
People draw a line at certain things. I know I do, but in most cases, no matter who they are or what they believe in or where they're from or their religion or the color of their skin, you want to keep in mind that most people deserve a second chance in life.
Okay. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with video of monarch butterflies migrating in Mexico. How cool is that? Hey, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.